I-22F and my BF-35M. He said he will only be with me if he can get my inheritance. What will I do? I moved back in with my father to help him out, and after my ex visited a couple of times, he started giving me ultimatums. He insisted the only way we could stay together was if I secured my father's house for myself and made sure my sister got nothing, as my dad split the house between us. I and my ex have been on and off for a year. Recently, we have been back on good terms and we're working towards a healthy relationship. I recently moved back in with my elderly father, who is a nightmare to live with since he wasn't doing too well. So I brought my ex over a couple of times to see where I was staying. I live in a 7-bedroom, 3-story house, and ever since seeing the house, my ex has been giving me an ultimatum. He said the only way we could be together was if I secured the house, since my father split it between me and my 50F sister. My ex wants me to inherit the entire thing and to ensure my sister gets nothing. He has become so insufferable. He said it's either I inherit the house because I should provide somewhere secure for our future. I told him that he's 35 years old with nothing and a whole daughter, and he has nothing to show for it. Did I go too far? Let me know. Update. I have read every single comment and just thought I'd clarify. I broke up with him before I made that post. My father and I don't have the best relationship, so I'm not sure why my ex was so hellbent on making sure my still very alive dad gives me everything. Secondly, my sister and I have 2 different moms. The only reason we got together was because he promised me he would take care of me and help me reach further in life, but I guess it's clear now what his real intentions were. He is blocked. Don't worry, ha ha ha. And thank you all for the advice. And no, it's not rage bait. Relevant comments. Commenter. Emo, you didn't go far enough. Cut all contact with him and forget he even exists. He's a fucking creep and an asshole. Girl, he's even trying to get you to turn on your sister. Nah, run from that. Commenter. OP, you're 22. This guy was a teenager the day you were born. Even if he weren't obviously trying to steal your family's assets, since it's not like he's going to live happily ever after with you once he gets the cash. He's way too old, and you could do way better. Don't fritter your ancestors' hard work away on this scammer. Story 2. I am 20. Found out my F22 girlfriend was trans. How do I communicate to her about this? Hey everyone, first time posting here. Me and my girlfriend have been together about 2 months now. She's honestly my best friend. When we first met, I had just gotten out of a really tough relationship that felt like hell on earth. My ex was a pathological liar, and I started questioning everything about her, even her identity. She would guilt trip me into doing things and didn't like me hanging out with anyone without her, not even my family. It eventually got physical, which was really scary because she was so much bigger than me. That experience made me afraid of girls in general, especially those who could overpower me physically. After we broke up, I isolated myself for about 2 years, just going to class and my part-time job. Then, my mom gently pushed me to hang out with my cousins and their friends. That's when I met my current girlfriend. I was instantly attracted to her, but also intimidated because she's about the same height as my ex. She noticed me looking at her and approached me outside my cousin's apartment. We exchanged numbers, started texting, and eventually began hanging out just the 2 of us. I opened up to her about everything, and 2 months ago, we officially started dating. We've had some physical contact, but nothing beyond kissing and cuddling. Yesterday, we were supposed to watch a show with my cousins and friends. I got there early and overheard 2 of my cousins' friends talking in the hallway. They were wondering when I'd find out something. When I asked them about it, they looked guilty, but eventually told me the truth. After a bit of convincing, I asked them to please just not say anything and made up some excuse to my friends and her about me not showing up that day. I'm completely okay with her being trans, but I feel hurt that she didn't tell me herself. It seems like our friends knew too, which makes me wonder what else I might not know. I feel scared and unsure about how to approach this situation. Story 5. Ada for asking my friend to change her Halloween costume. I, 21F, have been friends with a girl I'll call Ellie, 21F, since we were like 12. We're very close, but we are also very different. She loves going out, being with her friends, going to clubs and getting drunk, and I love being with my family, having chill nights with my friends, or going to brunch. That being said, there is absolutely no judgment. She's in college. It's absolutely normal to want to have fun. We were discussing our plans for Halloween, and she told me she'd love to do something together. I was planning on going trick or treating with my younger sister, 9F, and she said she had planned on going clubbing with friends. We both really wanted to spend Halloween together, so we decided on a compromise. She would come trick-or-treating with my sister and I, then we'd go clubbing together. This was a while ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. We also talked about what costumes to wear, and she told me she already had an idea of what she wanted to wear. I just told her nothing inappropriate, jokingly, with the winking emoji. Yesterday, she FaceTimed me to show me the outfit she had chosen. I'll try to describe it as well as possible. It's a dark red latex miniskirt, a dark red latex top that's kind of like a bra, and then the top and bottom are sort of tied together, like there's a few strips. And then she has sort of garters on her legs. I'm really not describing this well, but the best way I can explain it is, it looks like what you would see in a porn video or a strip club. I'm not judging that. Just trying to help picture it. It looks kind of like sexy underwear. She looked awesome, but I told her that her outfit wasn't really appropriate to trick or treat with children. I told her that it was amazing for the club, but maybe not to be around children and parents. She told me that there was nothing inappropriate. She was dressed as a devil, like many people kids. I said that I felt like it wasn't very appropriate and asked if she could wear a different outfit to go trick-or-treating and then change at my house before going to the club. She got very mad at me and said that I was basically calling a slut and that I was just jealous because I couldn't pull off this outfit and wasn't as pretty as her, and I didn't want her to get more attention than me. I barely replied because I really don't know what to say. I'm saying this again. I have no problem with the outfit itself, and this is not me trying to control what she can or can't wear. I'm just saying we're going to be surrounded by children, so it feels inappropriate. I don't necessarily feel like my request was unreasonable, but I can understand why it feels controlling to her. I don't know. Am I in the wrong here? Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. Your concerns all revolve around what the young kids will be exposed to. There is a time and place for that outfit, but not with 9-year-olds. It's a mark of your maturity that you can see that. You also approached her respectfully, explaining why her costume wasn't the best choice for trick-or-treating. You put the consideration of others first. And in this case, since her R-rated costume definitely wasn't child-friendly, you were the adult in the room when your friend wasn't. Your friend's blown-up reaction is also telling of her maturity. It was her wants, above all, and she had a tantrum when she didn't get her way. Commenter. It does sound inappropriate for trick-or-treating with kids, and her reaction is not the reaction of a friend. Insulting your appearance is not okay, and you don't have to accept that kind of behavior. Thank you for sticking around until the end. If you liked our videos, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to keep up with our latest content. Have a wonderful day. Relevant comments. Commenter. First, you need to verify this is even true. For all you know, those girls were spreading lies, and the only way to do that is to talk to your GF and ask. Yes, it will be awkward, but either way, you have to let her know. Commenter. If it's not a big deal to you, then don't make it a big deal. However, relationships only work with open communication, and you must have a conversation about this. This is a huge elephant in the room that needs addressed, but again, if it's not a big deal, don't make it. Simply sit down and say, hey, I overheard these things and I want to preface this conversation by saying it in no way changes how I view you or us. Based on that conversation, you can then decide to continue with the relationship or not. Story 3. My husband keeps getting more attractive and I don't like it. Me, 32F, and my husband, 32M, have been together for 8 years, married for 5. I am not ashamed to say I was the pretty one in our relationship when we were dating. Before we got married, he was around 280 pounds and 5'11", didn't know how to choose clothes for himself. He hates shopping and had a bald head. I fell in love with who he was as a person. Even though I never cared for his looks, I was secretly assured that he wouldn't cheat on me. I was cheated on every single one of my relationships until he came along. In the second year of our marriage, his sister had to lose a ton of weight due to heart issues, and he started going to the gym with her 5 times a week to support her. I was very supportive of him to start exercising and thought it was very sweet of him to support his sister like that. With 2.5 years of hard work, they both lost a ton of weight. He specifically lost around 100 pounds and turns out he has very blessed genes. I am talking about full-on abs and everything. Never knew man could grow jawlines by losing weight. Even his PNIs seemed to be bigger. I was very proud of him and was pleasantly surprised by this. Then, soon after he got a promotion at work, he became head of his department, and his former boss advised that he should look more presentable as a representation of their department. My husband took his words to heart and turned to me for help. We went on a shopping spree and started to let his hair grow out. Well, again, turns out he has beautiful hair. By this time, my husband is a very attractive man. Then, a month, we went to the company's anniversary party with his coworkers. I noticed that the women at that party was just swooning over my husband, and even worse, he just doesn't realize it. I learned from his coworker that most single women, even some of the married ones, are actively throwing themselves at him at his workplace. There was one younger girl who gave him a kiss on the cheek while we were sitting together. I talked to him about it, and he said, well, she is French. I thought French people are like that. I guess I'll try to keep my distance from her. Honestly, it was a dumb response, but it's just so like him. I don't like how much attention he is getting. I feel like as soon as we get into rough patch, if we get into it, there is a ton of women waiting to prey on him. I am scared that some of those women will affect him as he is pretty naive as a person. Note that he was everything I could ask for in a marriage and has been a great, if not perfect, husband for me over the years. I feel like such a POS for wishing he stayed physically the same. Story 4. AI Ida for making my stepmother cry in front of her family. My 16M mom died when I was 5. When I was 8, my dad remarried. He started dating my stepmother a year before, and he talked to me and my sister, 24F, about it before. He told us we didn't need to see our stepmother as a new mom, or even a mom figure if we weren't comfortable, but if we could be respectful and give her a chance to be something. He told us if there was anything off, he wanted to hear that too. We gave our blessing while also saying we didn't want her to be new mom, and Dad said he supported that and would make it clear to her. They got married and things seemed okay. Dad never called her our mom or anything, and she didn't really. There were times she called us her kids and she'd try to do some of the mom things, like Mother's Day activities, or sometimes we'd have stuff a parent-kid sports day, and she'd want to go instead of Dad since most kids have their mom. But Dad would gently remind her that she wasn't mom. My sister and stepmother had a really rocky and rough relationship, and they don't speak much. My sister tolerated her for Dad after the wedding more than anything, but at first she was okay with her. She just hated that she didn't accept the no-mom role. We spent after school with our grandparents until Dad got home. He'd finished work before my stepmother, so she wasn't doing all the mom stuff. She did offer to quit her job to do it, or to go to part-time or something, but Dad and her talked, and he asked if she'd be okay doing all that, and not getting recognized equally. So she kept her job, but still tried to fill the mom role sometimes. My dad and her started trying for kids, and they ended up going to fertility doctors and stuff. Even when that was happening, she still tried to fill that role for me, but I still don't want her to be mom. The problem now is, she can't have bio kids. Nothing can help. Dad has been comforting her about it, but now she has decided that I could let her adopt me and we could work on changing our relationship. I said no when asked, and told Dad. He decided they needed couples therapy. We were at her family's house Sunday afternoon, and they were talking to her about the infertility stuff, and she had mentioned she still has one kid, aka me, and that we were maybe making that official, and even if we didn't, she was still mom to someone. It annoyed me, and my dad wasn't in the room at the time, and I said no. Her family all looked at me, and I said she isn't my mom and we'll never make it official because it's not true. She started crying hard, and my dad heard and came in, and he brought us home. They got into a big fight that night, and my dad told me I did nothing wrong, but she said I humiliated her in front of her family. Aida? Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. I can't imagine how crushing her pain must be, and I feel for her, but that doesn't mean she gets to break your boundaries and use you as a band-aid. You're not a consolation prize. Her behavior was absolutely atrocious. My dad told me I did nothing wrong. I have to say, it's so refreshing to see a parent encourage and support healthy boundaries when push comes to shove. OP, I assure you, you didn't do anything wrong. It may not seem like it now, but you're doing her a favor by not encouraging a false hope of adoption. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself, especially given the fact that you were surrounded by her family. OP, oh yeah, my dad is great. I don't ever feel like I can't tell him this stuff. Sometimes it's easier to go to him with it than speak to my stepmother, at least with some stuff. Commenter, let's get this straight. You're a literal child who lost your mother when you were young but old enough to understand. You, your father, and presumably your stepsister made it clear to your stepmother that she was Dad's wife, not mom. She decided that when she and your father couldn't have kids, you could be her kid, despite it being made clear to her that wouldn't be your role in the family. Again, you told her no, and your dad told her no, and the issue of therapy was raised. Then, having been told no yet again, she decides to call you her child in front of others and announce how you might make it official, and when you once again say no, she turns on the waterworks and plays the victim. Your stepmother is a selfish narcissist with zero respect for your boundaries. On another note, there's nothing to say her and your dad can't adopt. Just because it's not you doesn't mean it can't be done, and if they could afford however many rounds of fertility treatments, I'm sure they could at least explore an adoption. OP, they actually started therapy already. It went that far, and she still brought it up in front of her family like it was a possibility, or like it was an almost official thing. I think she expected a pity agreement, but I don't know why that would feel any better to her.